Touchdown, Darrel Williams.
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
Oh, you went with the Darrel. I love it when that happens, folks. We are post-game.
I had to.
Just directly after. Matt Derrick is here from ChiefsDigest.com, as well as us. Chris obviously had the call there late to – is that your player of the game at this point?
I'm going to leave that for later.
Oh, okay. We'll tease it. Folks, they got off the schneid. They, I think this looked like the team that we've been expecting all season. And it came in fits and starts. A couple of surprises for me, but Matt, I want to hit you first. Of course, you have a different perspective on this. I actually took a little bit of glee from time to time because it is the Las Vegas organization. But did you see this coming in, or was it more so than you even thought?
No, I definitely did not see this coming. To me, it was a case of until we saw this offense come out and demonstrate its presence again. I just wasn't gonna believe it until I see it. That's was the case that we were in. So no, I did not see this coming. I had the Chiefs winning, but I had them winning by 4. I certainly did not have them winning by 27.
Right.
Yeah, I think I had them by maybe 4 to begin with. I said it could be 10, but I didn't expect this. I will say this, though. The one thing that really stood out to me in this game is Mahomes doing what he needed to be doing the past several weeks. And I think he started against the Packers, but too many drops, too many things that just went against this team, against those Packers, or I think they would have scored more points. But this game, just kind of everything fell into place. And I will say this as well. The defense, I think, looks rejuvenated, and I think that that's going to be a big key going forward.
That's one of my takeaways, too. And I just wanted to double check it here, Matt. That's probably the most stunning thing for me tonight. Las Vegas, 1 for 9 on third down.
Yeah, that's the second game in a row that we've seen this defense do exactly that. Put the opponent in some difficult third down positions. And in this game, the Packers really never gave up. And they had some life at the end of that game. I mean, this game was completely different. I mean, that fourth quarter from the Raiders, Derek Carr had nothing left in the tank. I mean, his spirit was broken long before then. So this was one of those games that, we were used to seeing that the Chiefs doing in that dominant run that they had back in the end of 19 and through 20. And we haven't seen it in a while. It's not something that we've seen where both offense and defense both put it together.
And special teams.
But I'm going to be the wet blanket here, which is that I need to see it next week against Dallas, because this is a Raiders team that is, I think, a shell of itself right now than what it was early in the season. They've got so many things going wrong that are just in complete dysfunction. I mean, this is a team that if you told me right now that this team was going to finish 5-12, I'd probably believe it. I don't know which direction the Raiders are going. So that's why this game, to me, it's a great start. And there's a lot of wonderful things to take away from this. If nothing else, then Patrick Mahomes looked like himself. Forget the numbers, forget the throws, forget the outcomes. I'm just talking about his presence on the field. The way he's moving around, the decisions that he was making, the way he was going about things. It just seemed like he had a swagger that we haven't seen in a while tonight.
Yeah, and I know we talked about defense, but you bring up Mahomes. I want to bring up the fact 3 for 3 on fourth down for Kansas City's offense. That was huge. And Noah Gray's touchdown was a great catch by him. Great play call by Andy Reid and great design. So I really appreciated that as well. I will say the one thing I know you said you were a little bit of a wet blanket. I was a little bit of a wet blanket watching that game at the end of the third quarter, towards the end of the third quarter, because I saw Mahomes start taking shots downfield when they were already up so far. You were hoping that he would have just stuck with the game plan, but it ended up not mattering, and that's a good thing for the Chiefs.
See, I'm going to be the opposite of this one. I feel like I've been waiting for them to get to the point where I don't think this was gratuitous. I don't feel like I feel this game went like I think some Patriots games have gone in years past when Belichick takes it up over 50 points. Like, I don't think this was disrespectful to your opponent in running the score to where they did.
Yeah.
But I've been waiting to see this, where you just keep your foot down to complete this thing. And then when you have it comfortably 20, 24 plus, then you back off, Matt. Was this too much?
No, I don't think it was too much. I mean,
Yeah.
it might be one of those things that comes back to haunt you later, because I can certainly see that, hey, this is going to be bulletin board for the second time that these two teams face each other, because I know that coaching staff is going to be reminding this team, hey, you know what? The Chiefs went into your place and they stepped on your throat and embarrassed you. So you need to pay them back. So that's always a possibility. But same time, I mean, this team needs to throw some bodies around right now. I mean, for their own sanity and for their own psyche, they need to do that. So no problems. I don't think it's too much. I mean, do what you have to do. But yeah, I mean, this team needed to change its psyche. And right now, I mean, this looks like a totally different team than we have seen, not just over the last 3 games, but I would say even the last 9.
It's so different. I'm going to have to go back and watch it again.
I just want to say really quick, to be clear, I'm not saying that I didn't appreciate the deep shots. I'm just saying that in the scheme of what they were doing on offense, Mahomes was hitting everything short, and he took risks that he hadn't been taking early in the game. I don't care that they went for it. I don't care that they were attacking. I appreciate that. It was just, it looked like he was changing what he was doing that had worked all game, and that's what really got my attention.
Got himself a little space. They did run 76 offensive plays, so I'm with you there. In fact, I'm going to have to go back.
It's a lot of plays.
Yeah, right? They ought to be wore out. We're going to talk about Travis Kelce because I'm going to have to go back and watch some of these plays here, and I'll do that by making sure that I can load it and rewatch the broadcast through a stream, or maybe I'll check something out on the phone, or maybe I'll use a tablet to look at the All-22. All those things are possible thanks to our friends over at DirecTV Stream. You can get all of your entertainment, your movie watching, everything that you need on one device in one kind of deal. No more clutter, no more searching for remotes, which is always my job around this house. I don't know why. And no more juggling for what you have to do in order to sit down and relax and get into it. Rid of the clutter and get your TV with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more about it at directtv.com. That's directtv.com to find more about DirecTV Stream. A compatible device is required, and content does vary by package. Packages were part of this deal tonight. I did make a comment late, and the 76 plays definitely played into it, but I do feel like the first half was gangbusters for Travis Kelce, and I do feel like he slowed down. He looked a little bit winded, standing up a couple of times before he's making a block, those kind of things. I think he needs the bye game. Matt, do you see this too, or am I seeing things out there?
I think this entire roster needs the bye week. I mean, everybody's banged up to a certain degree, and a lot of the stars are banged up. I mean, Travis Kelce is absolutely hurting. There's no doubt about that. And so that makes what his performance, I thought tonight, just another yeoman's effort in his career, because I know how much he's hurting right now. Tyreek Hill has been hurting. And I think that's been, once again, I mean, a reason why you've seen that him and Mahomes missing on a few of those shots. And there's probably a little bit of the timing that's just not there, because as fast as Tyreek Hill still looks, I'm still not sure he's running at Tyreek full speed right now. So, I mean, to me, if the Chiefs can rattle off another win against the Cowboys last week, if you manage to get that done, you get to 7-4, and now you get the bye week to get some guys rested up, that's the dream scenario. Because there for a while, it looked like this team was going to be limping to the bye week. Now they're one game away from going into the bye week on a roll.
It's crazy, and I absolutely love it. I think that one of the things that Ryan and we talked about this last week, that they absolutely needed to win this game. It was more important because it's a divisional game. But if you could get, and this is something we talked about a couple weeks ago, if you could win 2 out of the next 3, which would be beat the Packers, beat the Raiders, then you're in a good position going into your bye week, no matter what happens in the Cowboys game. I'm not saying I don't want them to win. Obviously you do. But I think they put themselves in a position right now where anything can happen the rest of the season, and the Cowboys game doesn't matter near as much because it's the opposite conference. Now, the key here, though, is Kansas City is now in first place of the AFC West after looking dead, a month ago?
Mm-hmm. Well, Matt, you pointed out, too, it's not just that. They went from being on the outside looking in, even with the 7 teams in the AFC format. Now, where are they, and just how close to the top are they?
Yeah, they were the 9 seed starting this game, which would have been 2 spots out of the playoffs. And now with this win, not only do they go from a tie for third in the AFC West, they're in first place by a half game in the AFC West, and now the 4 seed. They would be hosting a wild card game as opposed to being out of the playoffs 3 hours ago. So, yeah, I mean, their fortunes have completely turned around. Hey, moving up the ladder is going to be difficult because the Chiefs, for the most part, have lost the tiebreaker to everybody that's in front of them.
Exactly.
So that's going to make moving up to even the 3 seed a difficult move to make without having some teams in front of them have a few more losses. Bright side, everybody in front of them looks like that there's a possibility that they're going to drop some more games because everybody in the AFC right now has fleas.
The big question, though,
just getting that top 4 seed, winning the AFC West is going to be a big deal.
They might have cholera. I don't know.
The one thing I will say, you look at the rest of the Chiefs' schedule, they have the hardest schedule still remaining in the NFL, and that's going to be a big question going through the rest of the season. If they can find a way to win this Dallas game that they have coming up on Sunday, they're going to be still going into first place, going into the bye week, and they're going to be in a great position, and I absolutely love seeing that. Patrick Mahomes, while he threw the ball 50 times tonight, I think the thing that really sticks out to me is over 8 yards per attempt. He threw the ball 50 times and had over 8 yards per attempt. That's pretty good. And still almost 11.5 yards per completion. 406 yards, 70% passing completion percentage. And he took deep shots. And some of the balls that he threw deep probably should have been picked. And that's something that we can talk about later. But I thought he played a good game overall. And one of the guys that never gets any credit on this team, and I talked about him at the very start of the show, Darrel Williams showed up tonight, and he made a hell of a catch in the end zone.
Matt, was this peak Darrel Williams? Is this the best that he can be? This is what we want every time?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, certainly some of it is that we're seeing Mahomes using the running back more than he ever has before. And some of that certainly play calling. There was quite a few, design screens for Williams and a few other plays that were designed for him. But then some of it is Mahomes just checking down and finding that, hey, if Williams is open and some other guys aren't, get the ball to him. As I noted, I mean, this was, 9 catches. That's the most for a running back in the Mahomes era in Kansas City. Previously, Damian Williams had 7 catches. 9's a new mark. But that catch at the goal line, I mean, that end zone catch, my goodness. I mean, for all the grief that Darrel Williams has taken, for having the ball hit him in the face mask, that was an industrial strength catch. So give it to him. That was a big time play.
I mean, happy holidays. That's the ghost of Super Bowl past.
Yeah, and the one thing that I also will point out is no sacks on Mahomes tonight. That, I think, really played a huge key in this. Andrew Wiley, I thought, played very well, but I think that one of the things that Andy Reid did very well as well is calling quick plays that he could get the ball out quick. Mahomes could get the ball out within the first 3 seconds and not really let the pass rush hinder anything that this team was going to do.
Yeah, I the offensive line, I thought, really played pretty well. And you're right. I mean, some of it was perfectly, drawn up strategy as far as trying to get rid of the football quickly. Thought the RPOs did a pretty good job of, slowing down the rush at times. The screen game certainly was trying to take advantage of that and slow those defenders down a little bit. But once again, I mean, I go back to Mahomes. I thought he felt and looked a lot more comfortable in the pocket tonight than we've seen him for a while. And, and some of that, it may very well be, Andrew Wiley drew up a tough matchup tonight because going against Max Crosby, which fortunately is a guy that he knows pretty well because, they went to college together. So maybe that helped him out a little bit. I thought he did yeoman's work. I mean, I thought it was a pretty good job there against Crosby for the most part that night. But I also think it was a little bit of, he's been around enough to know what kind of a pocket that Patrick Mahomes likes. And you saw it, I thought, tonight, that Mahomes looked a lot more comfortable as far as, seeing where the pressure was coming from and stepping up and moving in the right places to keep plays alive without just, running into traffic. And that's just something we haven't seen Mahomes doing for a while. So whether it was, that, hey, Wiley's a guy that he knows and Wiley knows him and knows what kind of pocket that they want, maybe that helped a little bit. But I thought all across the board, I mean, that entire offensive line played pretty well. And even though I only saw it once again, I am all here for Trey Smith demolishing secondary guys downfield.
And I'm here for Creed Humphrey being a lead blocker for Travis Kelce. I like that play too.
Biggest
I like
fullback
Creed
in
Humphrey
history.
drawn to charge too.
Yeah, that was great. That was great as well.
I'll tell you this, Andy did a good job too. I felt he kept all of the tight ends in more. We saw late in the game, Travis was still chipping before releasing on delays. I think that's got to become a staple, the delay route for the tight end in particular going forward. I also do want to say that we are not neglecting the defense, folks. This was a standout performance all the way around. We're going to get to that here coming up. And I know there's a lot of people new. After a win like this, there's always a lot of new people listening. Matt is the voice up top. If you're on YouTube, you can see him over there. He's at ChiefsDigest.com. Chris is the man who keeps me straight on everything else that I get out of whack on. And my name's Ryan Tracy. If you haven't listened to us before, welcome. Thanks for making us your first listen today. We do have some sponsors, and they are pretty great. And it's kind of getting me hungry right now.
Yeah, I think this entire Chiefs team was hungry for a win like this. And I have to absolutely say, I was so excited this weekend. I got a package from Built Bar, and it was chocolate brownie chunk.
Oh, I didn't get that yet.
So I've got a bunch of those. That is going to be my lunch for the next couple of weeks, probably. I'm absolutely looking forward to it. If you've not tasted Built Bar yet, I do not know what you're waiting for. Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar ever. You need to try it. Most protein bars are chalky or waxy or just plain hard to choke down. A Built Bar is soft, covered in 100% real chocolate. When you bite into it, you know you're eating something different. It's more of an experience, one that you'll enjoy. In fact, you swear you're eating a candy bar, and that is absolutely what I feel like when I'm eating one of those coconut brownie chunk bars. Built Bars are low carb, low calorie, low fat, low sugar, and high in protein. So all the healthy benefits on top of being just purely delicious. So many different flavors. Raspberry, mint brownie, coconut almond, salted caramel, double chocolate, cherry barcia, and again, the coconut. You sitting there laughing. Somebody's having fun of. Yeah, well, imagine that. This month, Built Bar is coming out with new limited time flavors every 3 to 4 days. So check their website often. You don't want to miss out. Go to Built.com and use promo code LOCK15. You'll get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com.
And I'll tell you what, in another way, and maybe even make some for yourself, because crazy things happen all the time, like games like this. I would not have guessed the over at 41 for the Kansas City Chiefs, but if you wanted to, you could have bet it at betonline.ag. You could even guess if I'm going to lose a light or something's going to fall out of the sky. You never know on this show. So you can bet those props as well. I'm sure somebody has something by now. All you got to do is head over to their website. That's betonline.ag. Check it out. Find your way around. And if you sign up today, you'll receive a 50% welcome bonus. If you use our code Locked On when you sign up, and you can bet everything from all those other sports that I don't really care about to this one that is all important. I'm just going to say it out loud. Everything is there. You can bet on any kind of thing that you can find over at betonline.ag, the fastest, easiest way to bet all of your sports action. Over at BetOnline, where the game starts.
Now, I know we want to talk about defense, but I have to just say really quick, Dave Toub did fantastic tonight. Yes, Mike Hughes had a bad fumble, and I thought that was going to hurt them. But I like the return that he gave them, and an absolutely gut-wrenching call to go against the Raiders with that fake punt pass that Tommy Townsend just delivered brilliantly.
I'll argue with anyone. Hughes maintained control of that ball, moving around to the ground fumble. That should not be.
I don't think so.
I don't care. Fight me.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't. That's fine.
So that said, not enough given to the defense. This stood out to me. I had to go check this. 16 yards for Josh Jacobs. 16 yards for Kenyon Drake. That's what this team limited to. A team that knew that they could probably run on the Chiefs if they wanted to. A team that needed to do it to set up their play action. I thought that whatever the plan was that finished off last week and walked into this week, this team turned around in terms of attitude. I think nobody exemplified that more than L'Jarius Sneed. But Matt, what do you think is going on with this, and where do you think this comes from?
Yeah, I mean, I would normal. Part of me wants to say that the Raiders just didn't, give enough commitment to the run. I mean, they did run the ball 11 times, but when you're getting Jacobs 7 carries for 16 yards, I mean, it's pretty easy to abandon the run. But then again, I mean, they weren't really throwing the ball with a lot of efficiency either. So this was, to me, a pretty good job of the Chiefs defense, just, taking the Raiders out of their game plan and making them uncomfortable from the very beginning. Now, that said, I mean, remember, this was a 24-14 ball game. The Raiders are driving. Looks like they're getting ready to go into the end zone. Deshaun Jackson makes a big catch. I thought at that point it was going to be 24-21. And Rashad Fenton makes the play to pop the ball loose. And after that, it was a completely different game. The Raiders were never the same after that. And, this is the play that the Chiefs defense hasn't been making.
Mm-hmm.
They've been, in this stretch. I mean, remember, they did a pretty good job on Derrick Henry. I mean, this defense has been getting better and better against the run as the season has worn on. So I don't think this is anything new. I think it's just the same old stuff. It's a sign that they have been improving all year long. The one thing this defense has not been doing for the most part has been creating turnovers. And that play alone, I think, turns this ball game around. I mean, after that, it certainly at that point, the Raiders never got it going again. Never got another score, and I didn't think that they were ever a part of it again. And the Chiefs then just go on a roll and absolutely, pound them the rest of the way. I mean, I think that it got both sides excited. That now that they're able to create some turnovers, you get you force Carr into another bad move, and it's an easy prediction. I mean, to say, but it was if you can force Derek Carr and the Raiders to turn the football over, you're going to beat them every single time.
Yeah,
and that's
some
what
of his
happened.
Throws were horrible. Just horrible decisions, and Kansas City didn't make him pay near as much as they should have because there should have been at least one more pick, if not two. The one thing I will say, though, is pressure created those, and Daniel Sorensen actually got a interception. I think he stole that from Juan Thornhill, but who cares? I will say, though, yeah, it was a great play by Fenton. I thought Matthew had a better chance at intercepting the ball than Jackson had catching it to begin with, and then Fenton makes a great play. Shavarius Ward didn't play most of the second half. It looked like he was out with an illness, but the defense stepped up. Mike Hughes went in and didn't get picked on, which is saying something compared to how he played earlier in the season. And I do think that what really impressed me with this game is you started to see pressure from other guys. It wasn't just Frank Clark. It wasn't just Chris Jones. Jerron Reed finally got a sack, and it was late, and it was kind of ugly, but Derek Nottie got a sack. And that was a fantastic sack dance. I don't care what anybody else says.
I was just going to ask you.
And his teammates were loving it on the sidelines, so it was great.
I don't know what was worse. That said, like Matt said, you're making the big plays. You're stopping the run. You're doing the things that we've been saying this whole season, the whole first half, that they needed to get back to doing. Not only was this obviously a score that went out of control, but we didn't see breakdowns. I saw Willie Gay have a couple of nice plays. We saw Nick Bolton come up with a couple of open field tackles. Snead had probably the best game of his career, in my opinion. I'd have to look at the stats, but he was everywhere he needed to be. We didn't miss him. Tyrann Mathieu wasn't throwing his hands up. I think overall, between that and the pressure and the Melvin Gordon one-arm crushing of a midshipman over there on the Raiders arc.
That was great.
This felt, Matt, like the most complete performance this defense has had, not only this season, but maybe even going back a couple of games into the last season.
Yeah, it's been a while, I think, since we've seen this kind of performance against at least this kind of offense. I mean, they played pretty well against the Packers, but hey, there's no Aaron Rodgers, and Derek Carr's not Aaron Rodgers, but he's also carved up the Chiefs on occasion. So I think this was a really good test there. I mean, it wasn't, without some blemishes. The touchdown to Edwards was a small breakdown. And, and we talk about the Chiefs offensively and that mistakes of, Ben Watt has torpedoed them, whether it be, turnovers or drops or penalties. They had the one penalty on the opening drive that, put them into a 3rd and 10. And then after that, they converted the rest of the way. There weren't any mistakes the rest of the way. And when they didn't make mistakes, they scored on every drive but one, when Harrison Butker has the rare miss.
Right.
So, I mean, it just goes to show you what we were saying during this Chiefs run, the offensive run of problems, is that if they don't make mistakes, this offense is still the same thing it's always been. And today didn't make mistakes. Defensively, I maybe one or two mistakes. This is about as close to a perfect game that you're right. I mean, that we've seen from this defense in a long, long time. Is this something they can build on? Going to need to. I mean, the Cowboys next week are, to me, the toughest test that this team has left the rest of the season. After that, you come back, it's going to be all AFC West games for the most part. You get the Steelers and the Bengals, But other than that, it's going to be the AFC West. So to me, this Cowboys game, it's not necessarily huge importance because it's an NFC game and the Chiefs have buried themselves so badly in the AFC tiebreakers that, an NFC loss isn't going to kill them. But this to me is the one game left in their schedule to make that where they can make a statement before they go into the bye week and the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I will say I was very impressed with Snead. One of his plays very early in the game was a third down and 3rd and 2, and he stopped the guy short of the line to gain, and they ended up getting a false start, so they ended up having to punt as opposed to being able to go for it. He played fantastic tonight. I like what you said, Matt. I think the offense played very well. They had a mistake early. They didn't really end up having mistakes late. But the thing that I think impressed me the most about this entire game was even after, the fumble by Hughes and they go down and they score a touchdown and then the missed field goal, I was thinking that Kansas City was going to show that they were going to get frustrated. That never happened in this game. They played hard. They did what they needed to do. They took care of their own business. And that is what is going to get them through going forward. I agree with you. This is the huge test going forward because right now we also saw the Broncos lost today. The Chargers lost today, and both of them didn't look very good. The Chargers looked a little bit better than the Broncos did, but the Broncos don't look like a team like we thought that they could have been earlier in the season.
It sets it up nicely for what has to happen here in the West and then obviously eventually in the AFC. That said, a lot of good things to pick from, Matt, but who gets your game ball?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this one. It's a tough one, but I'm going to go ahead and take the easy pickings. And, you probably think that means I'm saying Patrick Mahomes. No, I'm going with Dirty Darrel Williams.
Damn it. You stole mine.
144 yards. Come on,
I
give
like
it up
it.
for it, man. I like it. And I know, hey, people call him Darrell the Barrel. No, he is Dirty Darrel. That is his nickname.
Okay.
Put some respect on that dirty for him.
Chris, who gets yours?
I look at this game and I think what you saw was Kansas City started getting other people involved in the offense. And I think that's what really made this game work. But I think what really made it work on offense the most was Mahomes just starting to realize that he has to just take what defenses are giving him. And he took what the Raiders were giving him early and it paid off. I have to give my game ball to him. 406 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, 70% completion rating. How do you give it to anybody else other than Mahomes? I would have considered giving my ball to Williams because I thought Matt was going to go with Mahomes.
Well, you guys took mine. So, you could go Kelce because he was the spark plug. He solidified the offense. You can go the whole secondary. That's what I'm going to do. I thought they all stepped up. They played well as a unit. Everybody contributed. I thought it was redemption for Fenton after that PI early. He makes the big play late. Tyron nearly picked one off. Sorensen, obviously, a little bit of redemption for his whole season there. I'm not saying that's enough. I'm just saying. And obviously, it all comes together in a win, folks. We want to know who you thought had the best performance. Leave us your thoughts over on the YouTube comments or in the iTunes reviews. We appreciate your time. And if you would like sub and hit the bell, go check out ChiefsDigest.com, please. See what Matt has written for you. And we appreciate your time. We will talk to you tomorrow.